All right. So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this morning for this session on scholarships and the opportunities that are available to you in the US and in Canada. My name is Abimbola Akinoye, and I am currently based in Canada. Our guest today as well is Dr. Bolanle. She's also based here in Canada, but she's helped so many students across different countries to gain like scholarship opportunities, expand on their opportunities that they could get abroad. And that's why we're also extending that to you today. So I mentioned before, just a bit of housekeeping. If you have a question, you can use the chat bot to ask the question, and we'll be able to address the questions as the session goes on. If you would like us to continue the conversation with you, I mean, take it case by case with you after um after this call, please feel free to fill the form in the chat. So yeah. And if you have what's it called? If you are not able to maybe, for example, understand some of the things that have been spoken about during the class or during the call, we can always address that with you like on a one-on-one basis. So without too much um taking of our time, because we want to keep this as short as possible and finish right on time, I'm just going to introduce Dr. Bolanle. For those that don't know her, she is a scholarship whiz, basically. She's helped so many people secure scholarship and funding to the worth of thousands of dollars. And she's been very helpful, of course, even personally to me in my journey in trying to like figure out, okay, what school, what opportunities are available for me as well. So today she'll be extending same to us, and I'm happy to introduce Dr. Bolanle. So, but Doctor, please, you can please take it on from here. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Can you see me? Um, okay, can you see me? I think so. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Bolanle Adewusi, and I'm the founder of the Scholarship Ways. And of course, so happy to be here doing this with my friend and sister, Bimbola Akinoye. So today I'll just be talking about scholarship funding opportunities, mostly in the United States and in Canada. And of course, we do have like a couple of agenda in terms of talking about the scholarships, what are the types of funding that we have, where can you find these scholarships mostly? And of course, how can you make sure that you assess your profile to be successful in winning scholarships? So I would introduce myself briefly, just trying to bring up my slides so that I could just go through a couple of things, because sometimes you say all these things, but you might just lose track, or maybe like people don't get to be attentive just because you're saying a lot and they can't visualize it. So I do have a slide here that I'm going to share today. So I'm the founder of the Scholarship Wiz. Scholarship Wiz was founded in 2020, just right during COVID. I think it was May 2020. I'd planned to start it around that time. I didn't know COVID was going to happen, but I still went on to kick it off online. And here we are. We've actually helped a couple of students. I've lost count, but I know in numbers so far still counting. And of course, based on what we've heard back, so far we've helped over at least over help students win over $5 million in scholarships. And in terms of coaching, we've coached over 10,000 students altogether. And at the scholarship quiz, the main thing is we understand that there are a lot of underutilized scholarships. Like I was reading a was it last month? I was reading an article. It was even Scholarships Canada, and it was saying that there are lots of underutilized scholarships in Canada. Like people are not actually using the scholarships. So you can imagine like 1 out of 20 scholarships are only being applied to. So there are some scholarships that are there. Nobody is applying to them just because they don't know about scholarships, just because they don't even think about scholarships just because they don't even think they're eligible to win scholarships. Some people just say scholarship like, oh, it's not for me. You don't know if it's not for you, really. I've seen people come to my class with it. Oh, I just want to try this out. I don't know if it will work, but let's see how it goes. And here they are, some months later, they've come back to say, hey, I won the scholarship. It's fully funded, it's partial, and we're gonna go through all of that, talk about the various types of funding. I don't know where the audience here, I don't know if you're all based in Canada or in the United States, wherever you are. I really want to know so that I'll be able to speak based on your location because we're talking about scholarship for domestic students. They're all similar in terms of the process, navigating the process, but they're just some scholarships that are more available for if you're a Canadian resident or if you're a Canadian citizen, and there are scholarships also available for the US citizens and residents. And they're actually scholarships for international students. There are some international students, scholarships available for international students that some residents and citizens of Canada or the United States cannot apply to because they're not eligible for it. So this is where the eligibility criteria comes in, because you could come across some scholarships and it to say, oh, only for Canadian citizens. I even see a lot of international students complain about that, but it doesn't mean that there are no scholarships for international students. And another one that I see mostly is even some Canadian residents saying, oh yeah, like, oh, am I eligible for these scholarships? I think they're only for international students. The truth is, different profile, different based on your status, there are scholarships available to you. So you need to understand that, and you need to know how to find them, how to identify the eligibility criteria, and make sure you're eligible before you start applying for scholarships. So I'm just going to go through the chat quickly and see where a lot of people are based. Zimbabwe, Nigeria, Canada. Okay. Based in Nigeria, Ghana. Oh, awesome. India. Hello, South Africa. Amazing. Okay, so we have people across the world. That's good. So I'm not just going to really base this on being a Canadian resident or being a Canadian citizen or the United States citizen. I'm actually going to talk about people, scholarships in different parts of the world, and even irrespective of your location, where you're based, your resident or your citizenship, how you can actually apply for the scholarships. Okay, so there's a form in the chat asking for you to register for personal consultation. So yes, please go ahead and apply for that. While I bring up the slide so we can visualize what we're talking about today. And then if you have that dream of ever doing like a postgraduate study, even undergraduate abroad, anywhere else, I've seen people actually travel from Canada to the UK. They're Canadian citizens to the UK to actually study, and it's okay. Like some days, my kids tell me, "Oh, this is what I want to do," and I tell them, "Okay, if you plan to study here, you might end up going to. If you plan to do this course, study this program, you might just end up going to England. So because I live in Canada or we're a Canadian citizen, does not mean we can't study in the United States. We just need to know, okay, what are the funding opportunities? Do we have? Are we eligible for those, even as a Canadian citizen or resident?" So being able to understand that as well. So I'm going to share the slide, and then we just talk about my profile, about myself, or those who join a bit late or people who are trying to get to know me better. So I've sent a request to be able to share to you. Okay, thank you. Okay, let me know if you can see my screen and if you can see Scholarship Masterclass.
Yes, ma, we can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and present from start. And yeah, so yes, we're here. This is really not a master class, but we have this template, but we always kind of like improve it as it goes. But of course, this is still a class, kind of like to just share some things. And at the end, we're going to take questions. So I'll try to be quick, but of course, I'll try not to speak so fast so you can really understand what I'm saying. And I would also make sure that we have enough time for questions. Okay. So yes, in terms of this is me. This is I think I've shared some of the things. We've helped over 10,000 students and we've won a remarkable. We have $4 million here, but it's been over $5 million the t last time we actually did the count. And of course, it's all based on my own personal journey. I didn't just start the scholarship with like, hey, I can start helping people with school. There's some things you don't just wake up and start. It's all based from my own personal experience, what I went through, trying to find funding to study in the United States. I was able to navigate the process, what I had to do, the extra steps, and of course, like working with people for the past 5 years, I've also even learned from other people's experiences, working with clients, becoming even some of them becoming my friends along the way. I've been able to learn from their journey as well. And all of this knowledge brought together is where I can actually stand anywhere today and talk about scholarships, graduate scholarships all over the world. So I studied in my undergraduate was in Nigeria, did my master's in computer. Okay, so I'm a computer science scientist. I studied computer science undergraduate level in Nigeria, did my master's in England at the University of Manchester, and then started my PhD in the United States. And yeah, it was all fully funded. And of course, it went on and on from helping my sisters. My sister wanted to go to the UK to study and she was able to win the Commonwealth scholarship. It was just kind of like, oh yeah, from what I've learned, this is what I know. And my other sister was looking to do a PhD in Canada, and she got a fully funded scholarship, and of course, across science, social sciences, and now it's gone beyond just those fields, and even people in the art field as well, being able to support them. And scholarship which came from actually identifying the need for this, why like people need to be funded, they need that fund to actually go to school and to actually make education more accessible and affordable for everyone. Where are these funding opportunities? Where can people find them? How can we make sure that we pass the information across to a wider audience? And that was what led to the scholarship ways. Started on Instagram, and now we've grown from Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere, basically like most of the platforms. And of course, we do have a team. So behind the scene is not just me. I do have a team of people, great and wonderful people that I work with. And my own story basically came from several rejections and being able to finally get the scholarship from my own determination and focus to really win a scholarship. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So today I'm just going to talk about understanding scholarships. What are the types and benefits? How to stand out in scholarship applications as well. And then the key resources for finding scholarships. And finally, some success stories that we have as well. So model one, understanding scholarships. What are the types and benefits of scholarships? So there are various types of scholarships, lots and lots of them. Like even every day I learn about new types of scholarship because the more you look, the more you see, right? So there are merit-based scholarships, need-based scholarships, field-specific scholarships. So these are the different types of funding, and then fellowships as well. And we do have assistantships. So I'll go deep into each of them as I walk through this slide. So what are scholarships? So scholarships are basically financial awards that help students cover their education course and can be either external or university scholarships. So we have the external scholarships, which are usually provided by organizations, and we have the university scholarships as well, which are usually internal scholarships from the universities, directly by the school, awarded to you. And of course, like I said, you need to meet the eligibility criteria. Eligibility criteria could be from your grade. Some scholarships are grade specific, and some are not grade specific. They would overlook your grade and look at other things you have to offer, like your leadership skills, your community service, like the volunteering experiences that you have that you don't think are useful. Trust me, some of them are very useful when it comes to scholarships, some leadership roles you've taken on in the past, and even like just being able to really tell your story from a need perspective. So we do have the merit-based scholarships. These are always awarded based on your academic achievement. Like, hey, you're eligible for that because you have a good grade, graded with a first class or a 2-1 or like a very top CGPA. It requires very strong GPA, and of course, like you've done like a standardized test score, like maybe the GRE and the GMAT if you're going to the US, and some top schools in Canada, like the University of Toronto, University of British Columbia. Some programs do ask for this score, standardized test scores, but sometimes, honestly, I always tell people it's okay to request for a waiver. If I graduate with a very strong GPA, I'll ask for a waiver. And if I don't have a strong GPA and I have like years of work experience in that field, I'll still ask for a waiver. So it's either I have one of those two things, right? Request for a waiver for those standardized test scores. And of course, we have the need-based scholarships. So these are awarded to students based on their financial need. So there are some scholarships. I even saw one yesterday where it's based on you being able to prove that you cannot afford this tuition. You cannot afford this education. You really want this. You want the knowledge. It's important to turn around your community to do great things globally in your field, but you're not able to because you don't have the funds. You can't support it, and you don't have anyone in your family that can support it as well. So being able to prove that you might be eligible for the need-based scholarship. And the third one is the field specific. These are just specifically for certain programs. Like, in fact, sometimes it's for women in STEM. Sometimes it's for just STEM programs. Sometimes it's for like an art program. Sometimes it's for journalism. There are specific field specific scholarships. Sometimes it's for people in the design field. So being able to identify this as well, you might be eligible and be able to apply for this type of scholarship. So let's talk about scholarship application process for the university scholarships. I would say the first thing is some scholarships from the university that would just automatically consider you like, this is based on the admission assessment and all of that. Just from applying for the admission, they will just consider you because you have a very top CGPA, that is your grade is high, or maybe the storytelling from your essay, you've been able to convince them, and then they just realize that, oh, this person has great leadership skills, or they've done really well in community service, and they will just award you that scholarship. You're automatically considered. You don't have to do anything extra. You've just submitted a very strong admission application, kind of like submitting a scholarship application, but as an admission application, you're being considered. And the other one is post-enrollment. So you might not actually be qualified for the scholarships until you enroll into the program. Maybe you're in your first semester or your first year, and then you are eligible for the next semester or the next year. So that's the post-enrollment qualification scholarship. Now, let's talk about the external scholarships. So usually most external scholarships will come from different organizations. So for example, if you're in Canada, I don't know, like there are a couple of other types of scholarships like the TD scholarship, and some institutions, some organizations they do. And even in the US, I think there's this Pell Grant. Is it Pell Bell Grant as well? There are different types of scholarships, external scholarship come from different institutions, and you might be eligible for that as well. I don't know, like for example, TELUS in Canada, it's called TELUS Student Bursary. They do have like scholarship for students, and even based on needs. I think it's kind of like a need-based scholarship. You just need to show that you really need this funds, you have this admission, and you want to go to school. So based on your acceptance letter, they will consider you for this scholarship. And also they do the post-enrollment qualification as well. So we do have fellowships as well. So it's a type of funding. It's not scholarship, but it's a fellowship. So kind of like similar, but it's just that it's more focused on your research skills. So usually for graduate students, researchers, or maybe certain professionals, and also could be research specific. So we have the university fellowships coming from the university, external fellowships coming from some excellent institutions that are actually looking for someone to support them. It could be government sometimes, support them with certain research as well. And it could be research fellowships coming from research institutions across the world. So it doesn't matter where you're studying from, they just need results. They want someone to help them look deeper into an area of study, do more research, and provide results to them. And you get funded for that. And the final one here in this category is the assistantship. So this is very common in North America, United States, and Canada. So it's a kind of financial sponsorship where you basically, as a graduate student, it's usually most people that are eligible for this are graduate students, not undergraduate. So a lot of undergraduate students are eligible for scholarships, the entrance-based scholarships. You sometimes you see like this entrance awards scholarships for different universities. Those are usually for the undergraduate student. But assistantships, we have the teaching, research, and administrative assistantships, usually for graduate student because it's a kind of employment-based funding. So you get employed to work at the university as a teaching assistant. You work with a professor to support them with grading, assignments, tutoring, office hours. You work for maybe 20 hours. I think it's 20 hours. And I know Canada is changing to 24 hours now to work for students. So based on the number of hours you have to work as a student, you can maximize it as an assistant ship. And sometimes the school would define how much hours you can work. They can say, oh, for this role, it's going to be 10 hours. So if you have 20 hours to work, you can balance it somewhere else. But why assistantship is good is you're going to gain employment experience. You're going to get, it's kind of like work experience, and you're also going to gain get your tuition waived. Sometimes tuition is waived up to like 75%, sometimes 100%. I got the assistantship, I got the research assistantship in my first year, and the second year it was supposed to be the teaching assistantships as well. So you could come in as a research assistant and then move on to become a teaching assistant. And the other one is administrative assistant. I know a lot of master's students they're always considered for this, whereas for PhD, it's usually the research and teaching. But I've seen master student also in these roles, research and teaching assistantship roles as well, and they do get it as well. So if for you to be a research assistant, you would need to work with a professor closely on their research. Administrative, you could just work with the department. It could be their library. It could be some of the office tasks they need to do. But for teaching, you're just helping with students, teach them and grade the assignments. So how do you secure assistantships? So most times for assistantships, you might be automatically considered. So that's why I would say if you're applying for admission in this part of the world, United States or Canada, you actually want to make sure that you submit your admission application, like you're applying for a scholarship already. Make sure it's solid, make sure it's outstanding. Don't let it be too basic. Don't let it be too flat because there are lots of funding. And for you to be automatically considered, you must have submitted a very strong application. Remember, scholarships are actually highly competitive. Getting funded for any program across the world, it's usually very competitive because there are lots of people applying from different parts of the world. So it's not just you or people you know or people within your community. You're actually competing with people you don't know across the world. So you need to make sure your admission application is highly strong, like very outstanding, and that way you're considered. And also for the RA position, that is the research assistantship, these are often offered by professors. And sometimes it could be offered by the department, but mostly because it's research based and professors are bringing you on board to work with them of their research grants. So it requires actually reaching out to faculty members, that is the professors, and letting them know. There are strategies to this, of course. I can't go through all of this in just one class, but cold emailing is kind of like one of the processes. You send a cold email to a professor to introduce yourself and request to actually for this assistantship, but we don't request for funding. There are strategies to actually letting them know, like, hey, I want to be an RA or I want to be part of your research team, you know? And then the other one is the administrative assistantship as well. That as well, you can just be automatically considered, or you might have to put pressure on the your program office like the program office assistant and all of that. Sometimes they do know this funding, but they're not just gonna give you, and they know like the what's it called, the is the availability they have in terms of work for students, and sometimes they won't let you know about it. They just take their time, or they're still trying to consider other people, or they're waiting for applications. Sometimes you might need to push. I've seen a couple of masters students push for this to get funded, and like I said, your tuition will get waived. So in terms of one of the service we provide at the scholarship with is personalized scholarship or school search. So if you want us to help you search for schools that you're eligible to apply for based on your program, or personalized scholarships that you're eligible for based on the program you want to study as well. We provide that service, and it's actually 20% off today. If you use this code as part of this class, you can actually get this 20% discount from our service. That's the QR code. You can scan it. I can wait for a few minutes. Scan it just to check it out and read more about the service and what we provide. So we'll do a tailored scholarship, provide a tailored scholarship list for you, and you don't have to be the one to search for scholarship yourself, because sometimes I understand like people find it hard to really match their profile with type of specific scholarship. They say, I'm not eligible, I've checked all the scholarships. Sometimes you might not just be looking at the right place, or you're not probably searching well. So we provide a service for our clients. Next, I'm going into module 2. How do you stand out in scholarship applications? How do you make the application stand out? I've said, oh yeah, you need to make sure you make your application stand out. But how do you make the application stand out? The first thing is profile assessment. So you need to actually be kind of like assess yourself, like serious assessment of yourself. Like, what do I want to do? What program do I want to study? Where do I want to school? Like, which school do I want to go to? And then scholarship and funding qualification. This based on this program that I want to study and this school I want to go to, do they have funding? So I always tell people, like, make sure you're using this formula. It's my formula. It's called PPE. You're passionate about the program. Because if you're going for a PhD program, what will get you through is passion. For example, you need to really love what you want to do. Like your research, of course, it would change. A lot of things would change in your research, but just know that you have a field you want to go into, and you like it. You're passionate about it. You're determined to finish as well. So that's PhD. But for masters, a bit of passion there is still needed. And of course, is it profitable when you graduate? Is this a program that would get you a job outside of school when you're done and it's all over and the reality faces you? And the final one is funding. PPF, is there funding for this program? And this school I want to go to, do they have funding for it? It's beyond just looking for a school. It's more, are there funding available in that university? And if there's no funding available in the university, how about the external scholarships? Are there any external scholarships available for this program? So what are the key factors to assess in your profile? Your academic or research background. You can't just wake up today and say, oh, I want to study political science, even though your background is saying you're an electrical engineer. You studied electrical engineering, all your work experience has been in electrical engineering, and then you wake up, oh, I want to do a master's in political science. It's not matching up, right? Where is the connection? There needs to be a connection, either coming from your academic background or your work experience. And then your work experience as well. I've already covered that. Certifications. Do you even have certification in this new field? Or if you're transitioning, do you have certifications, sub-certifications? If you're not, maybe your academic background is enough or your work experience. But if you are, some work experience or certifications would actually help you to assess your profile. And then next one is, do you have volunteering experience? It's always good to have those. Like, it's okay if you don't have it. I'm not saying you have to. But going forward, just pay attention to those volunteering experience. And sometimes you don't need to actually must have worked with a not-for-profit. It could just mean that you've been able to do something by yourself for your community. Like, what are the things you've done just from your own good heart, and it's helped change people's lives around you, It's done something for people. You've done something. What is that thing? It doesn't have to be a not-for-profit organization experience as well. So another one is standardized test scores. Sometimes to just boost your profile, do you want to do like the GRE or the GMAT for your program? Is it required? If it's not required, you don't have to. But if it's required, it could help you boost your profile. And finally, the application document, making sure your resume stands out, your essay is compelling enough, you're able to convince the reviewer, like, oh yes, don't give anyone else, just me, being able to submit your transcript, make sure you have all your documents ready, and of course, recommendation letters can't be left out. Get a reference that can write a very strong recommendation letter for you. And yeah, so sometimes people deal with a low GPA, like, oh, I graduated with a low GPA and I don't know if I'm going to be qualified for scholarship. Yeah, some scholarships are not grade specific, but most scholarships are grade specific. So I'm going to be sincere here, but not all. I've seen people win scholarships with a third class, a 2-2. So if you are in that category, how do you make your application stand out? So you probably want to build a competitive profile through research experience, gain experience through research, volunteer, write papers, articles, publications, do a course by course evaluation. So if you have your transcript, you want to probably send it to like Wes. Wes is helps with course by course evaluation of your transcript. And another one could just be like there are other organizations beyond Wes. Wes is just the popular one. And some schools actually provide it as well. And also certifications, getting technical skills as well. If your field requires some technical skills, it might just be what will make your application standard. If you're able to talk about some tools you can use and how you've used those tools, and of course, work experience overall. Okay, so if you're looking to transition into a new field, this is something to note. You need to assess your work experience. You need to make sure you have the relevant experience or you have transferable skills from your previous field. Or you must have gained relevant certifications. It could be formal certifications, mostly those are usually uh, they usually kind of like they acknowledge them, yeah, those formal certifications. And the final one is building practical experience. So it could be through internships, doing side projects in that field. Sometimes it could be non-paid, and sometimes it could be paid, but not as much, or maybe just volunteering as well in that field, maybe with an organization or institution, just to build your profile in that new field you plan to transition to before you start your application. Okay, so I'm gonna pause here and just talk about one of the service we provide, which is consultation service as well. You can scan the QR code to learn more about it. So if you need like a one-on-one consultation with me, 30 minutes consultation, or maybe 1 hour or 2 hours consultation, we provide that service as well. And like the other service, you get 20% discount, and the code is Master20 if you're coming from this class today. So I'm not gonna go deep into that. It's just more of you need a personalized profile assessment. You need so kind of like clarity on the way forward, selecting the program that you want to study, deciding on the country to go to. I'm not an immigration consultant, but I can share from my experience. And sometimes I would refer you to immigration consultants to actually talk to them if your situation is peculiar and it needs more deep dive with an immigration consultant. So going on to Module 3, what are the key resources for finding scholarships? Oh, this is very important because sometimes we talk about scholarships, you need to do this and okay, so where are the scholarships? Where can I find them? Apart from the one you just come across on Instagram and all, and maybe it's kind of like a day when you're just busy and going through Instagram, you were not able to save it, you can't really follow through, or there's no link to even apply. How can you actually pace yourself to find scholarships through different resources? So these are the various resources we have. Number one, explore the school or department's LinkedIn page. You can also utilize AI tools for funding opportunities. You can look at that. And in terms of exploring the school, I mean actually being able to go to the school, follow the school on their LinkedIn page, or sometimes there are certain departments that actually in a school, in the university, they have their LinkedIn page. Sometimes they do share scholarship opportunities there on LinkedIn, and being able to utilize AI for your funding opportunities, knowing the right prompt to put and all. I see my students in especially this cohort for our coaching doing a lot with AI, some prompts they're sharing really solid and all, and I'm just like, hey, this is really cool. And even for me, like this, if you really understand how to create AI prompts, you could actually be successful with finding funding opportunities, but AI doesn't provide a robust list of opportunities for programs. So that's my observation so far. I'm sure like with time it's gonna get there, but not there yet. And the third one is researching professors' LinkedIn profiles. So I still had a consultation with one of my clients yesterday and shared like an opportunity through LinkedIn that I've been following this professor for a while, and this professor actually reposted an opportunity from another professor in the school, and she's eligible for it, is what she wants to do. And she's so happy, and she just needed guidance on how to process. Like, don't sleep on this, make sure you apply, you know? So the fourth one is reaching out to current students at the school. This is always very good to do. Trust me, I did it during my own applications, and I know for sure like one of it really came true for me. The student went like over and beyond to really support. So and you learn from them as well. And because they are in the school, they can tell you. And if it's the same program, you're even lucky, you know. But if it's not the same program, it's okay. But as far as they're in the school, they'll be able to let you know if they are funding or not, or if it's just a bubble that's probably going to explode soon, and you shouldn't try it. But of course, from your own search as well, if you understand how to look for scholarships, you can tell from the school website as well if they are funding or not. So visiting the school's official website is another key thing to do. And finally, the educational fairs. If you see any education fair coming up, please attend. It's very important. Like the person I spoke to yesterday about the LinkedIn, she said, "Oh, there's an education fair coming up. We'll actually share it on our page." I was like, "Which education fair? Can you please share with me?" I said, "The school is also coming. The school she wants to go to in Europe, they're coming as well, and she'll be attending." I'm like, "Please attend. It's very important. Give us some tips on what to do and how to see if she could also secure funding through that process." So yeah, model four, so we can go through some questions. I know probably we have a couple of questions coming up now. Model four, just some success stories we have. This is just like a few out of the many. So this is Dami. I remember Dami, but he was back in Nigeria then. He had just finished university and was about to start his youth service. And then he reached out to me, "Hey, Dr. B, I am thinking of this." It was one of the early days in 2020 when I just started the scholarship quiz, and he was asking that, "Hey, I just graduated. I just started my youth service, and I'm just trying to see if I can get into a master's program. I just need scholarship. I don't know how to figure it out, what to do, how to navigate the process. I need to figure it out, I can figure it out on my own." And I went through a couple of consultation sessions. And eventually I told him, like, "Do you know with your grade and what you want to study, you can get into a direct PhD program if the end goal is a PhD." He's like, "Yeah, the end goal is a PhD." I said, "Just apply for a PhD." And he got into a PhD program directly without doing a master's, all fully funded, up to $212,000 in scholarship. Is currently at North Carolina State University. So that's one of our success stories. And then we do have Amidat Ifedolapo. She came into Canada, which was doing her MBA at University of New Brunswick, St. John, Canada, and then reached out. She came across a scholarship opportunity on the school website. So this was post-enrollment now, not the one before you enroll. So post-enrollment, she was already in the program. She had paid her first year tuition and was looking for funding for the second semester. I think it was a one-year program. And then she just came across this funding opportunity and reached out. "I'm just trying to figure it out and all." And we didn't, it was less than 24 hours, but it was a good day because work was not too busy. I was able to support, give her tips on how to write a story. And she wrote the story, put it together. She was so grateful, like, oh, some things she didn't even think she could put in a story. I was able to get it out of her. Like, you need to include this in your story. And eventually she won the scholarship as well. And then moving on to Victoria. Victoria's journey was more like, "Oh, I need to get into my dream school. I need to be funded." And also she was actually considering going to a school in the UK, but it wasn't really a dream school. So worked together, and eventually she got admission to the University College London in the United Kingdom and University of British Columbia in Canada. So I had to decide, like, oh, which one should you go for? She had one of the most compelling essays that I've ever seen. Of course, we worked on it together, but after, I think by the time we got to the 12th version, you start with a draft and you keep improving the 12th version of an essay. When I read the first paragraph, like, now you get it. It was so compelling. Like, she started with up NEPA. If you're from Nigeria, you understand what I mean. Like NEPA, like up NEPA. Imagine starting an essay with up NEPA. That was how she started her essay. And she successfully finished a program at university, master's in clean engineering at University of British Columbia in Canada. And she got funded through assistantship program, working with a professor. And yeah, we're so happy to be part of our success. And yeah, we have Sarah here. Sarah just started a PhD in the United States. So she is a scholar, all-time scholar. I met her when she had actually earned the Chevening Scholarship and I studied at a master's in gender and development studies at the University of Success. But currently, right now, she's doing a PhD in the United States, and yeah, she fully funded as well. And yeah, I think pretty much that's it for now. But we do have like so many. We can't share all the success stories, but yeah, I'll just stop here and see if we can take Q&A. But before Q&A, I just want to call out something. Like if you need more comprehensive assistance through the scholarship we actually offer personalized support through our coaching. We have one-on-one and group coaching. So we have coaching service. If you want one-on-one, like, hey, just want a one-on-one tailored guidance with Dr. B, with me, that's Dr. B. So you can scan and also get the 20% off this service. I'll probably learn more about it. And we have practical and Q&A sessions over a 4-week period before you start. And of course, continuous support, monthly one-on-one meetings, and of course, coach you on making sure you're tracking your progress, addressing challenges you're facing, and of course, helping you. And we have this accountability support group that we provide for our coaching clients, just to make sure like we keep nurturing them till they win the scholarships. And there are a couple of bonuses included in our coaching service, revamping your resume, post-coaching support. I already talked about that. It's for 12 months. Personalized scholarship search as well, and application review, one application review. And we have the group coaching. So if you think, oh, one-on-one coaching is not really work for me, I want to meet other people, or I can just afford the group coaching, we have that as well, also 20% off. So you can scan to shop. And it's also kind of like similar to one-on-one coaching. The only difference is the meeting is bi-monthly. So it's kind of like once in 2 months, one-on-one meeting with me, and bonuses as well included in it. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much, everyone. So I will stop sharing my screen so we can actually take questions.
All right. So thank you so much, Doctor, for educating us and providing all that information. If anyone has a question, please feel free to either unmute, and if you don't want to talk, you can write your questions in the chat, and I can read them so Doctor can answer them. So I'm just going to check through the chat to see if we have questions at the moment. I think I caught one before now.
Yes, please feel free to ask questions. If you have to ask me questions again, you
Yeah,
have to
so
come into my
I have a
consultation class or something.
right.
So,
So I have one for you here. It says, how do you request for a standardized exam waiver?
oh yes, we do, there are a couple of templates. We do have our own template. I used it when I was applying to the US, and it required me to write the English test, the IELTS or TOEFL and all of that. I was just like, no, I'd studied all my life in English. I'm not gonna write any of this. And then I was planning to write the GRE, so I could not just, and I was working full time. So how will I actually match all of that together? Prepare for GRE, prepare for English test, and also I just chose one. I'm going to do the GRE, but I'm going to request a waiver for the English test. So I just created my own template, let them know, good day, my name is this. I started reaching out to each school, each admission office. I reach out to them and let them know, like, I've studied all my life in English. I didn't put it in that way, but put it exactly that way, but kind of like in that context, like I actually had my entire education from elementary to tertiary, that is university in English, and I would appreciate if they can waive it for me. So I see a lot of schools now compared to then this was more than 10 years ago. They've actually been waiving it across Canada, especially most schools are already waiving English. If you're from Nigeria and English-speaking countries around the world, they're already waiving the English test, and some schools as well in the United States, a couple of schools. But if you come across a school that has like good funding, and you don't want to miss it, and they're not waiving it for your country, request for that waiver. You can even ask AI to come up with a template for you, and you can revamp it and make it better and send it to them, personalize it based on your own journey. Another one I know people do is the request from their school. There's this medium of instruction that states how you were being taught, like the language in which you were being taught in your university. A few schools do provide that. So you can check with your university if they actually provide that. Or maybe if you're in high school, you want to check with the school you go to if they can provide that letter for you, just to state that you were taught in English, you read in English, you write in English well in English, and you speak English. So you just want to know that you're able to communicate so well in English. And you can add it to that email when you're sending it out to the admissions office to let them know. Attached is like a letter, kind of like a proof from your institution stating that you actually had your education in English. So it's kind of like a good luck thing, because for me then it was kind of like I'm only going to apply to schools that waive this for me. If they don't waive it, I'm not going to do it. I'm only going to do GRE. But for GRE or GMAT, you can also request for a waiver. Like I said, if you graduated with I didn't do that, but I've seen couple of people do it. And now it is most of the schools, not most, but some of the schools in the United States are also waiving GRE or GMAT. I see that these days and I just smiled. Then it wasn't it. You can't even negotiate that. You have to do it. But now I see that they're more flexible with that. So you can request for a waiver based on your work experience in that field or based on your grade as well.
Thank you, Doc. So the other question I have here, I think it would be, are there any scholarships for aviation?
Need funny for aviation. I can't say it. Okay. Are there any scholarships for aviation? One thing, like I said, there are field specific scholarships. So you don't know. I can't just tell you, oh, no scholarships for aviation because I've not searched for scholarships in aviation. So until you search and you do the deep search, that's when you know if there are scholarships. But I know, like most fields, if there is scholarship in journalism or any other field, then why wouldn't it be in aviation? Well, I know about aerospace because I worked in the space agency for years. So I know there are scholarships in the space engineering field. So if there are scholarships in space engineering, I believe there are scholarships in aviation as well. And it depends like what area of aviation. There are different areas of aviation. So being able to identify that area of aviation you really want to go into and search for those scholarships in that area, then you'll be able to tell if there are scholarships. But I know for sure that there are scholarships across different fields.
Thank you so much. So just to wrap up the session and also so we don't keep everyone on the call, there are some questions or general information that was answered during the session. Some specific or like case specific questions might not be addressed because trust me, no matter what field you're in, there is a scholarship somewhere that is available. You just really need to spend time to search, do your research, and that's why you rely on experts like Dr. Bolanle, who has done most of the research for you, or will do most of the research for you based on your case. So it's not like we can say, oh, there's no scholarship in this area, or this is the amount of money you're going to get, and all that. And I'm answering that also for one of the questions I can see here, because somebody said, how much is the original cost since you said you're giving 20% off today? It's not a set in stone cost because you are charged based on your experience. What do you need to do? Are you going for an MBA? Is it an MSc? Are you going for like undergrad? So there are different reasons or different opportunities, and the costing would actually align to that. Somebody asked, are there any scholarship for somebody who is already studying but needs funding to pay off the debt?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Please, doctor, please go ahead.
Yeah, I can just say like if you are you're currently in school, you're a student, you need to just explore. It depends on the institution you are. So if you're already in an institution, you're kind of like in a box because there are different university-based scholarships which you might not be eligible for, but only your university or your college funding. And of course, you need to explore external funding. There are lots of external funding, and it's just ridiculous, like because we are not able to find those scholarships sometimes as individuals because you don't know where to look for this scholarship. But sometimes it's okay to ask your professors. It's okay to go to your admissions office. It's okay to go to the financial aid office at your institution and ask them about this funding opportunities for your school. It could be external, and it's okay to also look externally for scholarships or funding opportunities for your field. Look beyond just the school that you are, look outside. It could be government. Don't think, oh, even if you have a student status, I've seen people who have student status actually get funded by government because of their area of research. They're able to go beyond just their institution, reach out to like some government institutions, tell them about the research at master's level. I'm not even talking of PhD, and they get funded for that.
All
So I've
right.
worked with some of those students as well. So.
Okay, sure. So I have some of the questions here, but I'll just try to put it together as much as I can. Do you offer scholarship essay writing services?
Oh,
Yes.
yes, we do.
So that's the answer to that question. Someone says here, can somebody apply for merit-based scholarship for a master's program with a CGPA of 3.61? Also, are there scholarships available in human resources management? I think she's
Okay.
answered the later part of that question. But doctor, please handle the one for master's program based on a CGPA of 3.61.
So it depends, like if your CGPA is 3.61 out of 5 points. So, different countries have their skill. So, for example, I know in Nigeria we use like the 5 point scale. In Canada and the US, they use the 4 point scale. Some countries I've seen 7 point scale. So it depends on the scale you're talking of. So if it's 5 point scale, I believe that's a 2-1 in Nigeria, and that's good because you're still gonna meet like you'll be over the 3.0 scale year required for merit-based scholarship at the 4.0 scale. So I believe that works depending on the scale.
All right. So, thank you so much, doctor. I want us to end on the 12:30 mark. Because of course I know everyone is getting up to something to continue their day. There is someone who had their hand up. Rosemary, please, you can quickly ask a question so we can wrap up the session. Thank you.
Well, I think I think you touched my question because I posted it. I wanted to know like how much is the original like fees because she said that it was 20% off for this session. But you said that there were many different costs. So I don't know. I don't know how to go about it then.
Yeah, you can reach out to us on the scholarship we use on scholarship on Instagram, or you can just send me an email and then we would respond to you. I'm just gonna drop the email in the chat and then we can take it from there.
Okay.
Okay. We also have a form that we had put in the chat. There's a Google form in the chat. I would advise anyone who needs like maybe like personal consultation. If you have a question that has not been answered in this session, you can fill it out with your information. Then doctor will be able to reach out back to you, or would also reach out back to you just to find out where you are at and how we can further assist you. I hope this session was very helpful. If it was helpful to you, could you just let us know in the chat, maybe by writing what we learned, how helpful it was to you? And a very big thank you to Dr. Bolanle, because we tried to set this up a lot of times, but we
You
just
know?
never really aligned. I'm so grateful that we're able to finally do this. If anyone has any question before we close the meeting, please ask. I will be happy to assist you. Okay. Aerospace engineering students in India. Well, please fill the form so that we're able to help you. Doctor's Instagram is at Scholarship Wiz, or you can check out the Canada plug if it's easier to find doctor, then you can just follow her from our profile. So in the absence of any other questions, just want to say thank you to everyone for joining us. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out.
I
Thank
want
you
to
very
address this
much.
question quickly by Ashley, or maybe Ashley, if you want to drop your name and we'll reach out to you about fear. I know, like, if you're an international student, you might have like this fear, like, oh, I'm gonna meet people from different parts of the world, and when I get to school, for example, in Stanford or in Harvard or whichever school you go to, I'm not gonna do well because those people are better than me. The truth is, when you eventually meet people and you all get talking, you realize that you are all the same. Like you have nothing to be scared of, honestly. I think I was also there in the past, and then eventually I built my confidence from actually studying and studying outside of my comfort zone, outside of my own country. It actually built my confidence in my field a lot. Like it went from like 20 to maybe like 150%. I'm not even joking about this. So if you have that fear, you might want to book a time with us. Let's talk about it because fear could be a thing that will push you back and stop you from actually achieving your dream just because you think you'll never be better at it, or you think there are people that are better than you. And then you meet these people and you just realize that you all are just on the same play field, like same level. There's nothing different or special about them. You even realize that sometimes you are even better than these people. But out of your own fear, imposter syndrome of thinking like, oh, you're not better, you're not supposed to be here, it would hold you back from actually applying for funding or actually achieving your dream. So just want to address that quickly.
Thank you so much. And just to add to that, honestly, whatever it is that you want to go for in this life, everything you're looking for is looking for you. If you're looking for a scholarship and you believe that you would get it, even if your application is not solid, your faith in yourself can actually make it happen for you. There are so many opportunities. There's money waiting for you to grab across the world. Trust me. For those that are in Canada, of course, there are grant and funding opportunities as well. For example, there's the Ontario Students Assistance, the popular OSAP. So, I mean, there are so many ways you can get free money to go to school. So, for one last time, I would share, you check in the chat, there's the Google form there. You can fill it and we can send you more information and resources from Dr. Or we can also book like a one-on-one consultation with her for you. And I'm just going to wrap up the session with some of the good comments that we've received so far. Thank you so much, Dr. Bolanle. This session was very valuable. There's also, thank you so much, Dr. Bolanle and Ms. Bimbola. This session was real value. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, positivity is key in putting out your application for anything, especially a scholarship. And thank you very much to everyone who joined us. We'll just be wrapping up the session now if there are no more questions. Thank you again to our esteemed Dr. Bola. Very grateful for your knowledge. And we hope to see you guys in our next session. Please follow the Scholarship Quiz on Instagram and follow at the Canada Plug as well. For those that are based here in Canada, we do ship every Friday from Canada to Nigeria and Nigeria to Canada. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope you
You're
enjoy the rest
welcome.
of your weekend. Bye,
Yeah, thank
everybody.
you so much. And for those that are